almost started ball a year pre-season games near there. Team say Liverpool and AC Milan at the Boni and Yasam Ketua AC Milan for a TB at the Liverpool for and yet easy. Game no emu to me then papa you be room na fe the moon say to me about how Liverpool want to play this season. It appears all attacking. To me say yes, last season to me say now they were pragmatic in terms of almost defensive organization and solidarity in the midfield. Say again pressing now genuine was until bokanta na say be biewu enya asem keto akra. Ya be hwe say bia o may changes and say is that the way they are going to play? Enya asem keto akra. E ho no ye be hwe afi so no Arsenal the Gunners. And so any Newcastle for no the abububu name enye ize mu bu name sa 2-2 chese nim say apon awia ne sa. Na Jolinton okwo akola weso abaako ho no ma chese penalty and as say Arsenal for to me den enya victory ni ho no enye ize bomb of watch West Ham na West Ham team no mutikika West Ham team no mutikika nkrofo no ball o mo bo no ball fun pa enye ize Man United show mu 2-1 and a bomb of so na Everton so no e de boani o mo bo Premier League series wo US mountain so now to me say yes bomb of no high intensity aggressive press ne play no omo da so aginam samenyo si akan ho no ma chese nya asam keto akra omo to me share Everton omo share Everton say 3-0 ho no ma enya asam keto akra ho no to me say yes teams no must start take shape ho no ma uja ho a ombe good ye ho ama ohu de ekone de den de eba ho ye nti se Man City bo game de nti se Man City so ekobo World Cup bi nti no almost omon returning ti ye behwe se ombe returning ade ana fe bia tumi akoyi Man United say wo mu game no mbo na afi o hasem getu akọ mo fe na Amore ball na omu hia striker na tumi so mo pass high intensity no challenge easy ombo ball ne to pa America pa the players are running omu tumika easy tumi say yes Amore o pese obey den o make you amends tene yes Sesco o mabawre mu o mo pe striker de aba begina nim ho o me ne nanam Nicholas Jackson ho tapia se eni o matwe mo o mo so mo kopa Benjamin Sesco na afi o ba begina nim ho na nyama tumi akonka esan se Benjamin Sesco RB Leipzig for no say ultimate say yes ifuna ni abie o mo se o mate accent price na no mo ne nanam 100 million ne ade no say 70 million euros so de kwa ombeje 22-year-old striker no omo hwe ni mu se obeba na fe nyama tumi akonkan Arsenal for matumi on value omo striker Yokeres enye yize na Arsenal fan TV for release video bi na video net time no amanfo bebrebu afu se nkrofo yi na omo bodama na asa de Arsenal fan TV omo te omo dodo omo ko release video and I say omo video no omo ya ntese Batman na mu ni ade a akwei wode ne nsa na kata ne hone keke na fi Batman na mu ni ade den ya na moje tiene chese Arsenal for nyo omo striker omo hwe se omo nya another player player on person omo fa na ede ne ba Newcastle brand ya friend Eze Beriche Eze enye easy na me no ka say Aaron Ramsdale ultimately say yes Newcastle for no nkoso na no say omenya because omo call James Stratford omo ne nam ne ho a na ultimately say Man City borrow na James he mo fa mo sem hunu nko me ko Man City and then me no ka say Aaron Ramsdale former Arsenal and Southampton goalkeeper no and then Newcastle for akwafa no na ba isan say Nick Pope no omo huni ye honom Benjamin Sesko ran so no hye so say Newcastle for so nya ompe Newcastle nya ompe papa na ya Man United ebo mi enti ene chese anhia no mo de 60 million abasa ombe fa Nicholas Jackson from Chelsea ba ne sa Chelsea bebo ram na Chelsea bebo ram a striker ben na Chelsea kwa kofa say abrante your friend Benjamin Sesko ti Benjamin Sesko de me no ka say ne ho news no enma awie yesa ti ye behwe transfer merry go round no ye behwe se ne ye bekwa kosi na afi bibia so no atumi akọ enkan Alexander Isak ene mi no kasei Liverpool for etumi aton aya branch aye frɛ no Luis Diaz de na ma Bayern Munich nti ne sika ba fie a mo hwɛ ni mu sɛ Darwin Nunes on beso mu twa de kɔ aye Saudi hɔ no ne ade a ono so be konti kɔ saa ne de a na kyɛ sɛ British aye transfer ultimate say record no omo de kwa kofa branch aye frɛ no Alexander Isak na is one Hugo Ekitike enso ababe boy ni mu ho no na afi bibia nso no atumi akoye enye ize transfer news no bebre na etwagu ho no tie behwe na afi yabobo ni nyina so atumi de ama hye no se my bet and also yasen ayede eye news ne show no e de bro my bet enye ize bomodin a se ubetumi na wotumi atwa bet my bet makacho se amanfo no omukọ ekotwitwa wo ba bia afi omo office kura ni Ghana ti omu di kese ne saa na afi asem atumi akọ ko bi bai se listo kotina eyem framam na bo company we achi ma me san se ma di omu 2 billion ene me access my account ne kura me ntumi access ti ka bi ma me na msi bo nkrofo no mu ni Ghana ha o nti me kotina NGTV ne so kasa enko ba bia adenti na wantwa wo my bet esan se my bet de Ghana company the last bet 20 years any my bet na hwabo ma obi anu a waka se we this scam my bet for ntumi antwa na anu akwa ne 3 billion no odi ye no fidie mu ha ya na akwa no beje ne check oje ne check na enu di kan bowura MTN office den okoye wo MTN office ne se okotwa new sim card eno to ne sim card dada no se ne X enzi to bi oba be disturb ne bia nya de on nsa beka no akwa no akosi abronsan a enei nkraman be 33 eno wato ade egu nti no man be sika no ana branch ne de yes anka utwa wo ho a anka so mesi anka onsa aka osika nti woni man bed for hwimbom na bibia ntumi enkoye nei aviator na ba amanfo edi aviator na papa nti bomode a ne fa kakra efa to so na bibia nto enkoye bomode na register obowra mu Telegram account na Sports Arena SPORTS na watentemu na de ARENA arena na wa join join a ya pini bibi ho no msa ya pini bibi e ho bomode a ne mia so umia so a de obekọ man bed page ho de ko a no register fefe 3 steps obebo odin na obo wo password na o ma send you code e de call number ne so no wa verify your account no o verify account na no ano no obetumi ayeden a start etwa bet na afi bibia nso no atumi akoyie e ho no saso e na okopiem a show ne live e wo Sports Arena yes ewo ukopiem ewo TikTok sports.arena.news sports.arena.news saso na uko YouTuber MYBET.AFRICA TV MYBET.AFRICA TV online radio no MYBET online radio MYBET online radio na uko Facebook street is watching and I say ABN radio 1 bomodi ana join ye ho na fe fa comment no bibia den efa ebra na bibia so no entumi enyele enkoye midin the list o Vincent ewo ha say saso na so ene 36 na hwama o ma streaming show na bibia so no etumi akoye Granit Xhaka are returning to the Premier League and okojoane Sunderland ewo nom 3 Lions we 3 Lioness Oma to me, awini the European and as Euro 2025 course was Switzerland. Oma kwa kwaje. Na omoni Spain and the boy ni Spain edi ka share first goal. And England my one etiye na ejabo mu bubo pena one call penalty shootout na penalty a my one boy na tan ye papa. England for to me ewini wo honoma enyema ekoye. Saso na oba Africa ha so a awko Nigeria former general for the 10th time anya sam get to Accra. Timu say yes. A pra Morocco for share 2 goals in the first half. No be any so cruise control. Omo kwa 64th minute Nigeria for yes or no they will turn things around. 3-2. No mutumi share ya name omoje competition. The Black Queens etumi je bronze a omutumi share South Africa and also on penalties enya asem keto akra enei 4:30 na mayo no lande ewo Kotoka International Airport na utumi say yes enya asem keto akra mbi share dom ya dincheche pa FA president ne sports minister kushia mayo na omo ababedru Ghana ye ba hwe se enei dia na oso omo ye se na be ya next year dia no omo be match o Morocco ho na no it comes with what say obeko World Cup 2027 Brazil, so was a qualifiers no started preparation as soon as possible. So say Egypt and we first game to me say yes October and we be qualification na bibia so etumi akoye as it Chelsea man be returning on the 4th of August na ohwe videos a baby a Chelsea players no agro omudi no chese insuo so ade a utoma Castro Chelsea players no chese ade omoye na amba ayemhihie na akọ ede ama Chelsea supporters esan se obuhu Kaisedo no namusuo so chese okotene gya ho ne gya no de we a wa ben gya no betumi aso na tare no mahye no abrante ne ben gya no chese obi a complaini wo no team no so be returning na say abrante fe no Gerard Hato ene Javi Simons no omo deal no likely say by this week, close of this week there Chelsea be complete na bibia tumi akoye Joao Felix nanti ene chese or joining bubu ko fe no Benfica he Cristiano Ronaldo fa phone no say abrante brabe join me wo Anasa na mani abrepa mpese yetumi wini bibi wo Anasa ti bra na be join me 2 years and abrante na ko join a package ni nyina 50 million euros wo horoma ene omo hwese bibia nso no ebetumi akoye honum we any news ahodo a ene yede bro honum Jenko na fe yen start discussion no listen memo akwa
listo meji
bibia come ade
na me adom weekend no eba say on say yeko weekend no my bet me the 2 games ma hwefo na tie for boy especially congrats to the Black Queens. I knew it's definitely bronze medal in Yebeji, so double chance for Black Queens over 1.5 and over 2.5 goals in Cologne Leicester City game. You know, that was 2 games, but then 5 odds. A month for a trade alcohol Telegram group and good quality. I think that Queens for no MIA this guy, knowing for a fact that Black Queens for the moment nobody can show more one. Coming back better TNA year winning on penalties there I think say on my first car and yeni so esanso a GBM despite the fact that Yajiska NNA mano and so etimi bronze medal I mean for some time in although your core tournament na entire but then with this crop of players young players or more and if they are going to continue to play because even if you compare the Super Falcons Nigeria for a manner associate more any all these players no they've been able to maintain almost senior players and then they've added young players so some of our notable players are hopefully omoko tournament no man timi anya this and I think say we should tone down on them then how our coach Kim on subetimi ayesani but I think that they did very well in Friday no your first car.
Okay.
Yes. Listo. Transfer and sense no. On say by some of the teams must start but then I'm happy for Joao Felix. Me can catch us Chelsea were not ready to send him to Benfica without Benfica for no entry at 44 million or more expecting and when him say Joao Felix will be an Sikana original. It was 3 years so initial fear and they reported fear just said Anasa for neutral 50 million euros in pounds 44 and then there is going to be an initial 30 million plus 20 in performance related add-ons and Joao Felix be signed 2-year contracts at the Anasa team then he will earn 8 million salary at the no Chelsea no and they obetimia akwakoji 15 million per year or anasa. That means almost times 2 the NA OG or Chelsea. I think that it's going to be an interesting signing for Anasa. With a lot of players I know for a fact that if Okwa is good initiative, say at least Ronaldo, it's me a convincing a countryman and many guys the reason why now Joao Felix and said at least he wanted to go to Benfica and play. No, most of the players currently their agents and a lot of people want their players to go to the World Cup and everybody or America, Canada, and Mexico. So some of the players, there's a reason why they want to move so quickly. Even if a big team, Onyebimba, he wants to go to where he will get playing time. And Joao Felix, for the past 8 years, he's been consistent with the Portuguese national team. So, call Barcelona, how the short stints, some good performances. Then, Joao Felix, the problem, inconsistency, and Timian Bonamanenya add that fit. Then again, back to Chelsea, we thought say maybe the second coming was going to be very good, but then Enzo Maresca, how tactical he is. There are some coaches, they need players who are tactically disciplined. I'll meet him on my edge, and inconsistency in some 1 or 2 be no playing time. In fact, at the time he was at Chelsea, I know about as the second B team and as the B team, and especially most of the teams were more in the AFL, any conference league. He was leading the goals in the conference league, and if he had stayed at Chelsea before IAG the conference league, now maybe he would have won the best player was our tournament. We'll call AC Milan. First few games were very good, but then the same Joao Felix symptoms in so by inconsistency when Timmy and so on to us and Milan for no and Timmy and trigger ne deal. Then back to Anasa. If we are Portugal national team coach or captain Ronaldo Ewoho and Saudi for no call the FIFA Club World Cup, they made a statement, especially that game I held the Man City boy. I mentioned that the Saudi league cannot be compared to that one of the European top 5 leagues, not even the Portuguese league and other leagues. But then the kind of players from alcohol, these players arguably will enter into the top teams in Europe. So you how Omotimiche AC Milan and the coach of alcohol Inzaghi, Inter Milan coach or the Inter Champions League finals 2 times in a row and Osanso Ababaka Obabe coach. So it tells you that the Saudi league, they are making a statement and they want their league to be competitive as they want it to be. So Joao Felix being convinced by especially national team captain Ronaldo, a guarantee is that if Oko Anasa no about 20 plus games, he can score let's say 8 goals and provide assist to Ronaldo and any other strikers or more team. It means that the position, especially in the Portuguese national team, is secured. So I think it's a very good business. And aside from paying £50 million for Joao Felix, is a very good deal. And even deal in the ground, it came back out. It was obvious. Say scanner but deal number. Ronaldo are convinced so. Anasa is going to pay you times 2 whatever you are earning in Europe. Oba Anasa, you are still young. You can still come and play 2-3 years, secure the bag, and go back to Benfica now. Because if about 2 years, or Benfica, about 2 years, or Anasa, 2-3 years, by the time Obina 27, 28, he can still move to Benfica and also play at the highest level. And even at that Benfica, at the older ages, some of the players alcohol. Di Maria recent example or at Benfica recently or play ball at the highest level in the Champions League against Barca or see a kind. So I think that it's a very good deal for Chelsea. I mean, at least they've been able to get the money they had and sign the money. So still on Chelsea. There's been reports that Chelsea and Ajax for they are very close in closing a deal for Abrante and Jara Houto. And last week, your time, how he plays, the kind of potential Abrante and war, and the reason why Chelsea for chases Abrante. In fact, what's your Chelsea department now? Before I started this season and the previous season, annual day was a season now because the Chelsea players no biawo players, every department, every position. They have two players at every position, but there was one position because at the start of the season they had 2 players at that level, but then the coach insisted he cannot work with Obi to say Benchiwo, so they sent him on loan. In fact, before Omunyan and sending him on loan, he was still training. He wasn't training with the team. So now Chelsea will need somebody Marco Correa. But going into the season, Chelsea still had Renato Vega, who Chelsea for Kofani free. Basel Eba, they deemed him as somebody who can play as a center back and also as a left wing back. In fact, the left winger position about several times, but because of the pace, who said Enzo Maresca, he liked and Obeyusu Obeyusu Levi Kowa or Benoit Badiashile on the left side, then Vega in the middle. But then Vega also, because also by Chelsea 2-3 games, he also got the chance to represent the Portuguese national team. Also, person cementing the position in the Portugal national team for the World Cup. So it is why the agent and then the reps no push for a mover or free her call Juventus. So called Juventus, he done or he was playing as a center back. That is the preferred position or person obo. And if you look at Renato Vega currently on the article and other teams for Epeno, Chelsea will cash him on him. This is a player they put for 30 million and they are willing to sell the player for 40 to 50 million.
Well, I think on the Atletico then it is off because Atletico felt Chelsea, the amount Chelsea wanted were too much, and almost the Kofa a year, I think Slovakian international from a year, Feyenoord. So now maybe I think Bayern Munich want a defender. So
one thing is if you look at Renato Vega contract with Chelsea, he signed 8 years.
Yeah,
he's very young, and Bono. Chelsea might not be tempted to sell at a price they don't want. They can still send him on loan again for both parties to be, positive or whatever they want. Because Renato Vega, because especially currently at Chelsea, the coach prefers Levi Kowa to start. If Levi Kowa knew her, he also prefers maybe Benoit Badiashile, who is well composed on the ball, than only Renato Vega. No? So even if article for Antona, Juventus or Koeno, they want to sign, but maybe the valuation at Chelsea for Epeno, and they are not there. And Bayern Munich for sure a lot of interest. So Chelsea might not be forced to sell the player. The price are here. So Oshe Jarrell Houter, Medical Catcher say, especially at the left side position, they need somebody who can play the left back role and also play as a center back. And Akran Medical say, if you compare Jarrell Houter to fullbacks under 19 or under 20 years, in everything, he's first in that percentile, analysis, will start and everything. And this is a boy, Listo, in 2018, I asked for Nukofa and free Sparta Rotterdam, then buy. And when Obaye, he's been the youngest ever player to captain Ajax in the UEFA Champions League match. And just 20 years old boy, and I say just as young as he is, he has played over 100 games for Ajax. And Ocheke, especially last season, in the Eredivisie, if you look at the Eredivisie, the league is more about talent. Apart from producing talent, the league is more about talent. And on board league in the year, Jarrell Houter he was the talent of the year. And the Eredivisie for a year. Then again, you also look at Ajax. Medicanka say he is the youngest ever player to captain Ajax and also the youngest ever Ajax player to reach 100 games for club. So Ucheke Abrantena, he's very young, but whatever he is doing at this age in the Chelsea or huge potential. Again, the both season new year for Ajax, not also a talent of the year last season. So with the scouting reporter and the Chelsea directors, the football people in the scout for the year, he's a perfect replacement for Obitise Marco Correa. And Oshana, in terms of the aggression, intensity, the pace, Obitima fitting so well. And when he's coming, he's also coming to provide. Say he's very young. And the Chelsea hierarchy, they believe that Obitise Marco Correa was 27, and Cucurella ever been here 27 years. Maybe in the short term, there or common plans. So, but in the long term plans, at 10 years, contract Marco Palmer, many other players, no, maybe Cucurella might not fit into that. And the thing is, if Cucurella, if you want to win the title, whoever is replacing the one starter, should be somebody also be me provided at least 70 to 80% of whatever will first play an elbow. So he's a player that, in terms of aggression, he's very good. Say Yamo born in free back, the passing and everything. A bit me especially to Enzo Maresca. role Cucurella this season, especially for Mark Cucurella, we bought several positions as a left center back, as a left wing, and even if Chelsea were in transitional, we movie be in midfield. This boy can do everything because of how Otimi pass it, Okitabona or a nimble footed, pressure now, he can dribble, he can pass, find the right spaces. So I think that it's going to be a very good deal. He's young, Scanner Eba, and the number of talents. Any awards are granted. It imagine say if Oba Chelsea, I don't want to see it maybe Liverpool or more any more Cucurella mo betimi store a bit store any improvements and also the potential as one of the best players I'm betimi about league now. I think Listo Luis Diaz as there for the past 3 weeks Maka say now I mean it was obvious that the boy wanted to leave, but then he was just respectful to Liverpool team, you know. There's a boy at Liverpool for Tono over 40 million from Porto when he was coming. In fact, Scanner Nojo Porto was very small that Oba Liverpool for no. How the amount of money Ojo Liverpool who say a very big money to Onono Luis Diaz no. Now there's a boy Scar Ojo a Liverpool in pounds. It's not even more than 3 million pounds per year. To check it ni salary oji, that is and some tax in the money form. And there's a reason why Liverpool didn't want to sell this way, especially last season. Now Barca for and knocking. There's a reason why Liverpool didn't want to sell the player because one or on a prime, and even Oba Liverpool, he hasn't been to that stage. Money and the Salah has wingers for Liverpool, but then especially this season or improve here. Mohamed Salah free Liverpool team last season. He's the player or share more goals at the Liverpool team no. And Luis Diaz Liverpool I believe said in fact a ban year salary and a wage cap na on Jikesi. Now selling Luis Diaz no. If you need somebody who can play at the highest level like Luis Diaz, one spend there with 70 million or 80 million media ubetria. Then again that player now list to Orban. 1 year there 150,000, 200,000 pounds a week. If you want to replace him with Rodrigo, go check it. Rodrigo scored Real Madrid. There's no way Rodrigo be free a big club like Real Madrid. Ever Liverpool, no I bet say ne salary. So it's not as if say Madrid for the air forcing it out. So he can still decide to be stay, but score be Beji. And if me a player na me bought a big club like Madrid, na me buy another top club. In fact, I have to earn. At least the damage was Madrid and answer even more than so. That situation, Ababe Delicate Liverpool will sell at a price they believe that right for, especially in the transfer market, because this Liverpool or call Frankfurt or call for Hugo Kitike 91 million pounds. But then we were 27 years, until if I don't compare. But then if you don't sell the boy, because Liverpool form a contract extension 3 times, Amana attending it down because he believes that. Some man is can't say the Salamu any other players edge here. He's also not going to extend. And this is a boy at least last season who said, "I'm kidnap on the papa." Baby, you know a hoyashi. So he will need to secure the bag. And now, buyer for no, especially he was the first target for a year deco for Barcelona. But one, Barca for no, 1:1 rule in terms of player transfer. This is the reason why they couldn't secure in Williams and then their second choice was a year. Luis Diaz. I know a deco favorite. But then Scanner and Liverpool for expertise and the amount of money on Luis Diaz. So buy affordable on table, and if Barcelona can even match that salary cap now, a bit more signing no. Barca wage bill no are not going to allow them to sign this boy. So there's a reason why they went in for Marcus Rashford, who decided to say the wage are OG or better so 25%, 15 to 25%. Then again, Manu for the BBI. If Oba Barca na Anfa, they are not going to pay any penalty because Man U are not paying any of the Scar Motraman. They've got their third choice, right winger in the name of Abranta and Marcus Rashford. So Luis Diaz to Bayern Munich, you know, they can't catch us. Liverpool, they don't want to sell the boy because kind of more if they get the right amount and they will pay. And already now buyer for any kind any Luis Diaz didn't come about say you are earning 4 million euros at Liverpool. Now come to Bayern Munich, you have about 14 to 15 million euros with other bonuses. So we Luis Diaz you Colombian in another day, I kidnap papa for 12 good days, and some more than neighbor. Then this, I mean, sums of money ever. I mean, he's won everything with Liverpool since Ofri Obe joined them in that 2 years. Nino Obai Waji League, the EFL Cup, Waji BBBR, and joining Bayern Munich, no HSA or Treterashim or Nikokubo for one of the biggest clubs in Europe, and he had opportunity to win the Bundesliga and also improve as a player. So I think it's a deal now about a very good deal for both Luis Diaz and Bayern Munich. In fact, to say market here, people are buying Kunha for 60 million, people are buying Brian Mbeumo for 70 million. Arguably, all these players were ahead of him in the Premier League. So if Bayern Munich taught this player in the region of 60 million pounds, I think it's a very good deal for Liverpool. But then the Walusu Liverpool. In fact, they are winning in this summer transfer window with the kind of players on matter. Liverpool this season, I'm not shocking amount for Hughes any other people because of how they sustain or more revenue. And then I catch us especially last season. Scomunia or gate fees winning the Premier League and Liverpool in your revenue close to 600 million pounds. A bit me about my club books. There are still some players they are going to sell now. They've sold Luis Diaz, Darwin Nunes. With Abranton the day Hugo Ekitike Abano likely said Darwin Nunes will also move. There are a lot of other players. Elliot Money, one of two key players, they will loan them out to also clear the books and be PSR issues be Emma Metchom. So Luis Diaz then there, it was obvious that he was going to leave. And then check last season ne Amoji Premier League post on ne wife no post or IGA. Was people were saying it was more like a farewell to the Liverpool fans. Now say Yaji League, but message and the wife now posted thank you for one wife or all these years. Nature said they were going to move. And Branton was in that dream. He has to go and secure the bag, and I think say he's going to be a very good player for Vincent Kompany team. Definitely in the Bundesliga, if you have Michael Olise, if you have Harry Kane, now Luis Diaz, Elidio front three, then other players as well. I mean, Jamal Musiala as well, but then if they have any other player to replace now in this, short possible time, I think that still they are going to retain the league. Bayern Leverkusen, Ten Hag, acquire 1 or 2 B, and he's also losing some key players. Dortmund, I don't know, say if they can still compete. They can compete at the highest level, but don't check it. Dortmund, Bayern Munich, I still obviously Bayern Munich are still going to win the league, and also I think it's a very good deal for both teams. But then Liverpool for now they are not in rush. Say they won't pay any scar basa for any winger. But if Omenia Rodrigo will be an ideal deal for them, and they can say Rodrigo on but cheap. Madrid is not going to sell this player below 80 million pounds because Old Town Diaz 60 to 70 to Bayern Munich. Madrid didn't know. And Florentino Perez will be on no nonsense president. He's not going to sell Rodrigo behind that. And it's kind of bad. So Liverpool losing Luis Diaz is a big loss for them. But then they have someone Obetimiabo in Premu Diamomo, which is called Gakpo. And in fact, even if they buy another striker, say Darwin Nunes scored, they buy another striker because the report is there is a reason why Liverpool wanted to buy 2 strikers, and they said Hugo Ekitike Aba replace player. When you baby call in Diego Jota, and if Darwin Nunes squad, they will need another striker because since you play EFL, you play FA Cup, Champions League, and in the Champions League format in Ghana, sounds why extend there, so you are going to play more matches. So Hugo Ekitike won't remember all the games. If Hugo knew who is going to play as the number 9, and even if they have another number 9, Hugo Ekitike can also operate from the flanks. So I think that Liverpool, they've got the transfer market very well, but then what I think so when securing Luis Diaz and then they losing such player, they will find it very difficult to find someone a bit more to the highest level as any panel so ember cheap. That person 1 G crowd and 5 million, 6 million, 8 million be per year. If you're Rodrigo more, then you are hoping say you're going to pay more than 50 million, 60 million per year for that player. So and you are not going to Liverpool for Betty Malusu. I've been talking about Ibrahim Konate. And what's your Konate? Also in the contract, and so but this is Yamia don't go free. And player number Liverpool hierarchy. The Finway group for said he wants to go to Real Madrid. And Madrid for also likes the boy. Now, a bit me to say Trent Alexander-Arnold there. Now Liverpool wants to sell the boy 50 million. And Madrid for say, we know that this boy, Yamia next year. and even January we can make official engagement. Say you need a brand and as a contract. You need next year. Oba be join here. Real Madrid. So if you are going to take 25 million, you decide can be back dream. Now you have to Ibrahim Konate. And even with Konate deal no crown, there's a reason why Liverpool for another player at the number. So they've sold Jared Kwanzaa to Leverkusen and boy no episode on Real Madrid. Now Madrid they now say they vote in Hudson. They have Asensio and they have Antonio Rudiger and Eder Militao Aba. But they can say David Alaba, they want to remove him because we Kylian Mbappe flew on the highest, the second player or just like I said Real Madrid, and they hot on about 2 matches in April. The number of games are almost more minutes and they want to clear him from the books. Stay bit my boy Real Madrid, so they will need somebody who can be a long-term partner to the Hudson, and they believe that Ibrahim Konate fitted that deal. The boy in person uncle. Now, if Liverpool don't accept say now what they are doing is they want to convince the boy or extend the contract by a year or two. No more for release clause in shame say the release clause in shame say next season Madrid will come and pay 50 asking price now. We're also going to extend your money. Now what Madrid is also proposing is don't extend the contracts. Whatever Skabian Kebechama Liverpool, we can give you 50% or 40% of that to you, the player, as a signing on fee. Whatever amount you are earning at Liverpool, Oba you bet triple and you bet double at the amount of Real Madrid. So there's a reason why the boy doesn't want the boy wants to move, and I'll call Real Madrid any dream club. And I think that Liverpool for they are going to lose if they don't be swift on AS and Nema wing now. Finally, Madrid for an answer Arsenal. Enya Omu main man, Victor Gyökeres, and this is a player people have been saying, oh, Baba Premier League, Baba be floppy, and Brighton crown on your being ball, and then they all say. But then, you see, if you look at the strikers are not Liverpool, Arsenal for a poor man. Their first contender was Abranta Efreno, Benjamin Sesko. In fact, before Edu ever best step down as the sporting director, or before Ama Jason Aito, and so replacing as the interim successor. They were all these people were still negotiating with Benjamin Sesko because Arsenal for Arteta believe is how they set up, because this is a boy American son say honestly academy boy, so in hold that play in pressing and how Arsenal for born he was a player that they believe that not fit your role. But if you look at when Edu Koye and Dry better Abe setting in as there, also being a different dimension. Say he likes Obi to say Victor Gyökeres, and he told the coaching and the management say where Arsenal is at, they believe that they need what the Benjamin Sesko, any Kai Havertz crazy Hokrana. Benjamin Sesko, a young striker, 22 years, still or potential more years ahead of him. Obetima retreat to that potential because of this striker a world beater. But then if you look at Benjamin Sesko Sisiana, Arsenal for the say the kind of striker they need is somebody or experience or with an immediate impact. So with this boy, despite the fact that Leipzig for last season it wasn't very good for them, you did how he even entered into the lineup. Because when Leipzig, they had Yusuf Poulsen and Openda Ewoho. So he wasn't even a starter. From last season, he started starting on then Leipzig. So Neman Sheda and Koyemomo. He's a player that Koba Arsenal the area ability, which is a selling card or bank
ball striking and the area ability.
Yes. But then check Arsenal team, they believe that they have Kai Havertz. The reason why I'm checking Kai Havertz, who even played so born as a first nine, the number of goals of because Havertz called Arsenal last season. Agenda aside, and aside from say in this season they do a Arsenal here. Despite the fact that Gabriel Jesus on super, they would no combine or improve in terms of goals and assists for Arsenal last season compared to any season with Chelsea, especially in the Premier League. So now Victor Gyökeres from Brighton, 19 years old, joining Brighton, and even know Nebi Crambo. They sold him to Swansea or loan on Swansea, back to Coventry. And Mitchell said he improved as a striker at Coventry, especially in the Championship. Scoring 9 goals, the following season scoring 12 goals, and again scoring 16 goals before Sporting for Ecofano 2 seasons ago, and then Nova something games about what much 97 goals more in that space of 2 years, no. And the over Europa, arguably, you cannot mention 5 players or 5 strikers are money didn't come. And there's a reason why he didn't win the golden boot. If the Hurricane, what the Kylian Mbappe see, he scored goals at change any striker in Europe last season. But the thing is, league now urban coefficient, no. So we share 3 goals and now 3 goals 1.5. But in the Premier League and the top 5 leagues, no, La Liga coefficient we share 2 goals 1.5. So say yeah, there are only goals any Kylian Mbappe able to me and more points than him to win the golden boot. So that is the reason why he scored more goals, 52 goals, than all the other strikers. I went to manage the golden boot. So Arsenal for list, this is a dealer, very complicated for us now. And Medicama Abekam has said, sponsored on how deal. No, if they want this amount of money, they will do it. When United in that Bruno Fernandes, you see, you pay 80 million. Okay, if you're not going to pay the 80 million outright, they will find ways and means that all the achievable bonus at the end of the day, no, you might even pay that said amount of pay and there's a reason why they will not get you close. They do baby. Now sounds so very complicated because the achievable bonuses now Arsenal for the shame. No, they deem say it's very difficult because Arsenal for the shame say if I'm on the Champions League now they say any titles, OG title are bonus in Baba. Now we want Champions League qualification in. And making sure that they ultimately secure player. This is a dealer and try better. Echo back and through from England to Portugal several times. Echo have a personal meeting, and no the agent and the Hassan Chikiata, he was very involved in the deal. And then day in day out and try better could be no AD come on. And in this situation, it took Arsenal. Football chief operations director of football operations James King, he was also involved, and Arsenal for executive vice president opinion Lewis Nina Eba involved and suddenly team secure that deal. And you see the bars around Abraham and the signing and everything. It tells you that they've got their man, and then the reception and everything. And she said Arsenal for no here an impact. Immediate impact from this boy. Eddie Kanka said for the past 2 seasons, 3 seasons, Adia Eddie Arsenal for one squad depth. Apart from that squad depth, say even if Saka pra, whoever replaces Saka, on to me even replicate 50% to 60% of what Saka can offer you. And they Adi Eddie Omunya and 2 in a strike. Somebody or slotting in the goals if Saka, Odegaard, Martinelli, Thomas Partey create chances now. And they Gabriel Jesus by but also end me and stay consistent. Injuries aiding. Now they've got Victor Gyokeres who can also play our striker. Watch and say for the past 2 seasons, somebody who is a goal scorer, he can provide that. Now Oba Arsenal team no more. What Ateta has to do is say when you're a proven goal scorer, someone who is experienced 27 years or in the prime or in the peak more will go through all the channels. He's not somebody who is going to be new to the English Premier League and English football. He's been with Brighton, he's been with Swansea, and even the Championship. Who say how is it so him joining Arsenal no there the expectation was he should know that Arsenal team maybe and United and Chelsea maybe there will be so much pressure on him. But what about there will be pressure from outside world. People are hoping say obey deliver and all bano. Now obi abeka say Arsenal, Arsenal dey here a striker, Arsenal here a striker. Obi team abo mama near my team akoi. So near my course will deal with him. No, I mean it took several weeks. It took say Arsenal football operations director, their executive vice chairman. Tim Lewis Muina and so bit me join for Andrea Beta say on so bit me nyasa. So I think that if you look at Arsenal, they've done an incredible job. Say Omenyo Omoman, for the past 2 seasons, they've been the bottlers of the league. But now Mikel Arteta is in the 7th year. I don't know if in the 7th year, yeah. If he fails to win a major trophy this season, I think say he should be also Arsenal for the Palm, because this season with Damsgaard, Zubimendi, Mosquera, and all these players on my team, they don't have any excuse.
Well, if you look at almost friendly games, I think they go with their first team, unlike other teams. You see them with a lot of kids starting there. They beat AC Milan by 1-0. We no ball penalties and no lose penalties, but the game itself, no there. 53rd minute, and Bukayo Saka a share. Then Omone Bubuko Efeno a Newcastle. Do omo concede early goal, Elanga and share early goal, and betete here the Eshomo 3-2 honum. They are to play a Tottenham Hotspur. Ball a Villarreal. And I think say by that time, that's Omabono 31st dabe. Okay, 31st okay. I got 3 days and 4 days. And ball a sa game no. We are normal baby ball a ball Villarreal, then ball last game. The way they are playing, meaning say watch games in Libya. Almost friendly games no more. Yeah. It will give you a fair idea how they are going to approach this game. Now they want to sign Eze. Say almost the Babe can team no na feel say they are done.
Yeah. I think that they're also doing a very good business. And with Benjamin Sesko there, he was a player that Mikel Arteta, no boy, no. They almost started conversation somewhere in January. No person come offer Obiti say Oli Watkins, but they believe say Watkins and the amount of money, 60 million asking price at Aston Villa for they won't get that money. But Arsenal, the reason why for Benjamin Sesko is there's been a lot of conversation with the manager Elvis Basanovic. They wanted the boy to come, but then Arsenal for free Sika and they involved. They didn't say this is a boy over 22 years, although there's that hype around him. And Arsenal for only who said or player B, he's not going to give us that immediate impact. And they see him to be very expensive. If Edu and Friwa any immediate successor, Jason Aito Amba, maybe in Combeto Benjamin Sesko, but Andre Beta so point of view of the buy and say, in fact, this boy is expensive. We check his Ghana Leipzig for elbow ball, and even in the personal terms, player terms, Scar, this boy a Bejikrana, a very expensive compared to the likes of Ayobi Victor Goycrest and other players. So you look at Arsenal departments now. They've done everything right. And they can kind of, if you're almost star on how do you play in the answer? I tell that she share a Jumana to in two back now, baby Rema. I say, why your puzzle are kind of missing piece at a baby ship. They are doing everything in nature or more cray in one area, no more as number 10 rule. They are doing everything. Now, I didn't say these boys almost like a soccer because the last 2 seasons, the both league almost say, William Saliba, a pride affecting. If you do a Saliba pride, they were not almost considered goals by Sabasa. I for Montimisha goals. Last season, their defense were very good, but Edu baby no. Arsenal were not even finding ways and means to create chances. And Edu baby no, they rely on corners, any throw-ins to score goals. But only one more body are secure say you are not going to score them. And this season, they are trying to solve that. So when we say Omodi Noni Madueke Abama, Madueke the numbers at Chelsea, and also data and statistics such as he's a player he can improve, and he or a player be able to from the right, from the left, and Mitchell say statistics in data says he's one of the few players we Antoine Semenyo from the Premier League. Oyusu ni weaker foot a ball more shorter. The another player you'll be to say Noni Madueke. Any who Madueke, a lot of people were praising him when Chelsea and Liverpool ball more last game of the season against Liverpool. Our ball from the right side. And who that comment from Iron Slot said Madueke was in I know on the prime to say Ronaldo those days. So I think that them getting Obi to say Noni Madueke a perfect backup to Bukayo Saka and also someone who can also improve Bukayo Saka and Obiswa if Opeso starting from the left side, playing against a low block team, you will need somebody from the left side that Obetima are swinging your crosses. You also another person. I also mentioned if they need somebody who will be a starter and somebody Obetima Martinelli, it should be somebody your friend Eberiche Eze. He's a Premier League proven or he experienced. He can dribble against low block teams. So also Arsenal this season when they meet teams on low blocker, they find it very difficult to create chances. But some of the teams, even a low blocker, they still find ways and means to create the chances, but they don't have somebody to slot in the goals. Now in Arsenal for them, against low block teams, they find it very difficult to create the chances, and they also find it very difficult. The least chances of making creating against that low block teams. No, they don't have someone or slotting inside goals for them. And now they are trying to solve that issue. Eberiche is a creative winger who can dribble, who can create, and who can score. I think Ebe's also a very good addition. You look at their goalkeeping department, they brought in Kepa Arrizabalaga, who kept a performance with Bournemouth last season. A perfect backup to Raya. In terms of right back position, Timber is there. They have White. The centre back, they have Julian Saliba. They have Gabriel Magalhaes, and they have the young and exciting centre back Mosquera. Denaba. In the left side, they have Martin Lewis Kelly, Renato Calafiori, so Ricardo Calafiori will hobbit me about as a centre back and also the left wing back. When they lost Thomas Partey, the Norgard Abba, they lost Jorginho, the Martin Zubimendi Abba, they still have Declan Rice and they have Mikel Merino, and then they want to get rid of Fabio Vieira. And they own me deputize Odegaard. If Odegaard so and they in one area several positions one about say with the arrival of Donny Madueke, there's no way they are going to, if Saka they are going to play in one area ahead of Donny Madueke. The air clear say in one area no will deputize Odegaard because this is what in the preseason games are Nina Boas number 10 and that 10 Obon this season the a big change is kaka either Madueke either a Saka. When they return of the ball, he Bobby or how no bed drifty at the wide. Then Saka ever get closer to the striker. Any loose balls be a babiano. You have Bukayo Saka, also one of the prolific scorers in their team, Noni Madueke, who also loves shooting and are creating chances in any star house spaces, any loose balls be a baby. So maybe how they play, they are going to play to create chances because Victor Gokra is in listo. He is not somebody Bejibo, our country on ye Ishak B. On yes, apple, but then if you create the chances or your box striker, not him the ball, the man in the box, he will find ways and means to score for you. And that is one thing Arsenal have to do.
Okay.
Despite the fact that Omenya is a striker who can score the goals for them. But we also know that Arsenal also create chances against low block teams. And the Premier League, if you want to win the Premier League, you can score the big teams. But the small teams, and at the small clubs, you cannot win the league. So there's a reason why Pep Guardiola, or no, we make sure so who do a big team crow shower the 1 point be there obeji 2 points out of the 6 or we make sure obeji 2 points but against Southampton, Sunderland, Leicester, any all these teams on low block teams or sure ma first half both watch 4 to sit in the or building a team just to win the Premier League. But then Mikel Arteta there last season on one person on G League as a person on G Champions League and only divided attention. But then team they should find ways of making creative chances and yes striker now.
So maybe that is why they are bringing Eze.
Yes, in terms of they are doing their signings right. And this is Arteta not this season. Almost also called trophless. I think so also on 7 years. FA Cup that was in the first season. Oh, the Lampard share or Chef and Lampard G. Since the Onyanji trophy BIB. And I think there's one thing I will be improving Arsenal in recent times. Not Arsenal and Champions League. I will be improving so I think that their signings no more than the list. A very good signings.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure. I do not Roma so issue contract since summer or PSG for no. Yeah. To me ne Abranti aye friend no. Let me get the name right. Osina kan Edema Lille Metropole goalkeeper. Abranti a friend Lucas Chevalier. I agree personal terms any idea. So they are bringing this particular goalkeeper to come in because Donnarumma and Yana just be extending the contract. Yeah. Do you think that it's an opportunity for Chelsea? Now, you know him say he will not come and take the amount now. Chelsea at the more players near there. He's an European champion, both for club and country. And you know, goalkeeper they high reputation here there, but you are not going to get him for cheap. Yeah. Do you think there's an opportunity for Chelsea to get him and perhaps get rid of Sanchez or still stick with Sanchez?
Listo, we check it Donnarumma issue now. Even last 2 seasons, Luis Enrique Bayern. Now Donnarumma, the hesitant sense never bear there because the number of times Donnarumma, especially he has been fantastic for PSG this season. But if almost started almost build up now, Donnarumma and Shadani, they will not find the centerpiece pass to Vinti and we are relaxing. So he's not that ball playing and super goalkeeper. Luis Enrique here. Now with Sanchez, he is built for that position. But Sanchez is not quite say the errors in the doors. Last season, me catch us say Obi say Onana. About the ball playing, you good. But you see, we check it Onana and Sanchez. In terms of saves, the ball will win Sasho, but Onana will do the save. Sanchez will save. And you net like I said last season, we share the number of saves Sanchez here. We not time for his goalkeeper if you are. He made the highest saves percentage in the Premier League last season. But then some loose balls be. Any error leading to goals 5 or year was the most by any goalkeeper. Into area Chelsea echoed the FIFA Club World Cup, especially the game against PSG. Most of the Chelsea fans were scared say advantage by error. In fact, or error but goal into manship. But I also mentioned say if Sanchez hits me bad in a game, finding the long passes and the short passes in writer, Chelsea can beat PSG pressing several times. And Otimi yes I don't know. Now Donnarumma the short passes, he's very good. Long, he had there at least at PSG, and Yahu Petrovic. I know about Chelsea, Enzo Maresca, no period Strasbourg. Strasbourg under Resenia, they play from the back, and Oba being improved. One of the highest rated goalkeepers in the top 5 leagues, And Chelsea for sure cash out because the Americans they are doing their business and they believe that he's not going to be number 1. If Sanchez is still going to be the number 1, and that's will be able to chance Sanchez or Beko. Now, Donnarumma, if PSG are not able to extend the contract, no man high money I think that there's difference between Chelsea and some of the clubs are listed or much big for the players. I have a same amount of money because players what they know is said. Right now, I'm a professional footballer. I don't know what will happen in the next 4 years. Maybe when you're ACLB, no more lose 1 year, then it will because someone is signing a contract. But if I assign 8 years or 9 years with Chelsea are not giving me $20 million a year, but they are giving me $5 million or $6 million a year. So it means that if Chelsea want me $6 million, then their table is $8 million, $9 million offer to me. It means that for the next 9 years in Listo, I'm still on a contract and I'm still going to get my $6 million from Chelsea. So if I'm going to get $6 million from Chelsea, then I'm going to sign 7 years or 8 years. It means that 6 years and 8 years Babeji in the region of 48 million. So you can sign 4 years with PSG, with Barcelona. Now I do 20 million a year. And now ABR 15 because 20 million if some few players don't measure 20 million. You can earn 10 million a year. 4 years near saying 48 million. And after that 4 years, what is future near saying? If any Saudi club will be and the back now if you want to move from Barcelona, the Bayern Munich to some of the clubs are more small compared to these big teams they cannot pay that. So that is what Chelsea for Eddie Enya some of these players to sign our Munji wage kese because your amount age kese so and they obit Nicolas Jackson, Moises Caicedo, and they Copa Mama said contractor 2023. even if Bibi Thomas is here, they are still going to get that money for that 9 years. And they are football agents, sports lawyers, advising players. If only a lengthy contract, that's Ofianas Kano, very good, Ujin for the next 10 years. Sometimes when you're 30 years, when you are Bagiska, if you're going to China and Saudi, you are good to go. So with Donnarumma deal, no, I think that I clear that Luis Enrique, a super goalkeeper, a goalkeeper who can make saves, and a goalkeeper, even if we share team beer, Obetimia holding 15, you need that goalkeeper to play that long passes for you. Say, by the saves in Quadia, Donnarumma and Komuni problem, but they need a goalkeeper. If Pacho Eko no come, if Marquinhos or Berardo no come, they will need a super goalkeeper who is very good in it. And I think that a lot of goalkeeper teams so help Donnarumma, Chelsea a part, Galatasaray, any other teams or Moko. So if a player like Donnarumma, and I think that especially AC Milan clubs, no, AC Milan and other Italian clubs.
Why will I think that the contract no per or the way extended? Why will he decide against staying at PSG and try to move to a club like Galatasaray?
You see, one, which are key players now. Obi to say Donnarumma say, if not Enis Kasema, PSG, looking at the age and even how coaching they will be willing to get a younger goalkeeper. I'll be fitted to your style of play. Then you be mano lesser or even the Donnarumma person original and I said they're currently original. That goalkeeper the engine drusa. Now if you look at Donnarumma listo, sometimes about the player in the contract extension, I never be brave. Offer na team in the man no. The amount of money or more here. And even if Omo talk goalkeeper for fra, because there a lot of teams are they have other goalkeeper. Bet you say how I say about Nunyambo so be any other goalkeeper or bet me about to that highest level. You be bench you. I and so you never be brave. But looking at Donnarumma listo, I don't know if the player he's not happy at PSG there, but then say bad situations like this are mostly Ayana a Yisikano. And I don't think say Luis Enrique catch it. Donnarumma say if Ostea he won't get playing time. But then PSG for no now you're obvious say they were going to buy another goalkeeper because they believe that even if Donnarumma cry anything anywhere, they need somebody obey me. Ama esa Donnarumma exposure no and an experience in Paul no how obey me in the BBA. So I think that in this case no more of the contract agreement in my woman player and the reps and the agents no, they are not good about it. But then PSG so and the coach perspective believe say all they need from the goalkeeper no, he's not giving them 100%. So the other teams are goalkeeper boy a band saves in the won't me and yes but maybe there are a lot of things sa goalkeeper na sa player no off the boy some of the coaches are also about goalkeeper. So Donnarumma there, I mean when Luis Enrique call most of us Luis Enrique call there, then Donnarumma there, he's not that type of goalkeeper. But they were proving
but I think they've managed to find a way to get the best out of the whole team.
Yeah.
And at 26, Donnarumma knew just that Nidin and actual system because of very early getting opportunity or AC Milan I'll be more PSG. I think that
right now reporter leaking for can say PSG for person mon continue wages
from at 826.
Yes, from 12 million. Because the thing is I want say abrofono who list if on power na say opeso new film they have several ways on meso money and then they also believe that Donnarumma no Ono is a win. They also want
26
to
years.
Yeah, 26 years.
You know, see, put in perspective.
Okay, yeah. In fact, Africa na urban prime. But the American guy say, on the style of play, or you will be a Luis Enrique depend. And if Luis Enrique is bringing a goalkeeper penna, you cannot be earning 12 million a year. Now you found in a bench. And also the crowd on own penny because we contract when you are coming, we say you are going to be a starter. So they are giving you options. So there's a reason why Donnarumma is opting to leave. If Saubama contract extension from 12 million, mommy more than 12 million, 8 million there, then I will leave. In the Saudi for the list, they are willing to pay 50 million, 20 million plus. With Obi to say Gala, they will give him that money. But at Chelsea, I doubt. But they can give him a longer and on the company no, it's even Enzo Maresca being here such goalkeeper. That is another question marker. And so on. So I think the reason why he's leaving is because mostly so once it will be about 30 games for a team by one of their key players, especially in the Champions League. And he says so yeah was very key for them winning the Champions League. Now if you also believe here, most of the times Sikasem used to weekend United.
What Chelsea will you love Chelsea to go for him?
For Donnarumma?
Yeah.
Maybe
okay. And
I don't think so.
Okay, moving on.
Because OBOG 8 million there, and here na Sikasem will be a problem.
Okay.
List to Man U for no share. West Ham. In fact, after a game against Hong Kong, only list about 0-0. And if you look at the lineup, are obvious where the coach wants to play some of the team. And they can catch United last season. They couldn't win a lot of games, especially in the league, because they wanted to play in the Champions League. It's a attention na the Europa League so any Angi Postecoglou so a punisher more on the second season the auditor for the punisher more or meant me emphasize shortcut and so and can heaven. Now check United game on West Ham boy yeah. Me Ruben Amorim that he is somebody that when he was coming to United, me at time sharing the style of play and how I like him as a coach. And a very dynamic or boy a 3-back system. But when the team emotional. The 3-back system no gives him a lot of players in defense and also a lot of players in attack. Against West Ham, that is the last game on boy. Omanya Matheus Cunha, Omasani Brandon Mbeumo, 2 attacking players are no more one of the best in the league. Now you look at Obitise line up on boy against West Ham. The 3-back system, the boy almost started heaven. Matisse Delete, any Lenny Euro, and Euro now we say that 3-back system number whether from the right, whether from the left, obey very key. Maybe a coach in them to be and you see sometimes how best set up in the team no, and so a better how he wants to play because in Mbeumo you Muhammad Diallo, the success last season before even injury best Setina even Obaye. And Obi the same as dry any Dalot. That right wing back position was tried more several times. Now, Oba in the first sign or in Patrick Dogu, maybe catch us on only players or person more flanks. He needs somebody or what that pace to go and come back. And Dogu last season maybe people didn't see. But then how Obon a same style of player coach in here. So Patrick Dogu from the left side there secured. Now if you look at this United team, how Obon list to Bruno Fernandes last season played more as a left-sided number 10. That 2 number 10 somewhere behind the striker. Now they spent over 100 million. I can cover 2 players aba. Omabe occupied that number 10 role. You how when coach Niba Man U, the comment he made at Mason Mount that he's seen Mount playing under similar style of play as that left-sided number 10 behind the striker. And the against Tottenham Hotspur. Now Mount essentially fully fit or buy a full start Obama for a lot of United fans were angry because he believes that with Bruno Fernandes he will need somebody from deeper whenever they are building up he can find that right channels and honestly bet me even the half spaces are obet slotting in that box because nobody in the United team and a Bobo better than a bit Bruno Fernandes. But then now he started with Haven, Delete, Lenny Euro, Amad Diallo, Manuel Ugarte, Kobe Menu and Patrick Dogu. And then the up front was Bruno Fernandes, Matheus Cunha, and Rasmus Højlund. Now, Ochake or more preseason games on Boya. It tells you that he had a lot of changes. Opponent or no Mukwakobo because we say Amad Diallo. They might still have Brian Mbeumo, but there are games he can still start Diallo as one of the number 10s. And maybe Mazraoui about that right wing back because latter stage of the last season, you said Amad Diallo and Mazraoui partnership, especially on the right hand side, they are very good. And there is a reason why some of us also believe that Amad Diallo there, if it's not Abia or Abia will pray that right hand wing back on Obebo Hosa Maybe say Brian Mbeumo, because you are not going to spend 30 million. Like I say, Okakubo team will bench Mbeumo, because how he's going to play, Diallo will complement Mbeumo, and with Mbeumo, how also the ball air drifting inside, outside, and also into the box. We also create space for Bizama Diallo. So especially at the right hand side, we should expect United creating more from the right hand side. And a more game against Edu Baby, somewhere in quick transition. Now say Bruno Fernandes or the right hand side, you still see Matheus Cunha at the other side of attack. So I think that coach it's about time. United maybe now a team ni one, and then up to maybe they will need time. But then if all things are equal, no, the right players or problem at Brighton, he had two right fullbacks
at Sporting.
Sorry, but then he was using Quenda, their academy graduate, no, a winger. And since we flew a Pereira by to us, he wasn't playing Quenda at that same position. So only then say when or that number about 2 number 10s, he will need the wing backs to be very active. But Diallo the say that role ube here that intensity and maybe Diallo injury concerns for some years because Amad Diallo free Atlanta Bayern and injuries in United team at that time or by injuries both Sancho Sancho or Rashford or that time Sancho is playing from the right, so who will injure the Sunderland Oba back in your Anthony Abba. So right currently play another room. So maybe Diallo, if they can manage him, that right wing back position, only in Mbeumo they can complement each other. Now, me issue near almost striking role, and I think that United has to sign a striker. But then almost came against West Ham. Me who Adibia maybe Rasmus Hojlund Obeya a bit me abua the likes of Mbeumo. Maybe some of the United fans they will not see. Because we are striker, we beat us or a striker. We off the ball runs and we in the ball runs. They don't really care. There's a reason why me, for instance, apart from say Nicholas Jackson, I show in previous years or your inexperience. There are other things I like it. But then with the striking option, if United need somebody, they obey me a stretchy defense and no against, especially against West Ham. Me who said Rasmus Hojlund a stretchy defense in 2 times very creative space Cunha and even Bruno Fernandes. There was one ball biswa or the ball no run or carry ball more than 10 meters and I think that or boy and the ball bar and I think Amad Diallo should go be homogeneous off. That one too was from Rasmus Hojlund. So that 2 runs alone I believe that even if United and a striker crana with Mbeumo and Cunha coming in, if Obetima stretchy defense is because there are games at least you go and meet a defenser Omacity low. That one won't mean stretching. No. That is why you need a box striker. That is why you need a box striker. Also when number 10 no other players also wait me and make it that thing equal. Now if you look at the transfer market, striker Bena so far how United are going to mean so bet him the probable lineup I believe that United for no bet me about from Athletic where Brian Mbeumo will fit for United and Sanemani now. Likely that if they don't buy any goalkeeper, Onana will start ahead of Saab buying then. Saab can there. Onana a good saying. Now, if Onana is starting, is the where Luke Shaw is? If Lisandro Martinez fitter, he will be there and Martinez bar, he will complement United for so much in terms of a build up. And Ruben Amorim on the style of play, he likes the 2 midfielders to be aggressive and to be mobile, running in between. See, there will be games that there's a reason why he wants to bring Bruno Fernandes in. And then he spoke about Manuel Ugarte said Ugarte is getting how he wants to play. In fact, he's a player from a new league, but he has to match the intensity and all these things. He also needs somebody aggressive for a team. And Kobe Menu, there are other games Obetime complementing both Kobe Menu, Manuel Ugarte, maybe Casemiro, and Mano that needed energy to play and the style of play. So with Licha, where Luke Shaw is, I see Licha replacing if Lisandro Martinez is fit. There's a reason why United hierarchy doesn't want to play him because of the fitness level. By the time I start the season, he will get into the team and start playing. Now, in FIFA Hono, Ababe Martinez deleted there. We share the game some in rock solid. So who Matisse Delete, then you have Harry Maguire, experienced player as the backup, very good. Lenny Yoro, watching several years, especially United centre back on, he's very good because of the pace, no, and the pace no complementing United team so much that especially last season when Omusha teams on low blocker, he can take the ball and run. But me carry ball more than 5 meters. Let me create chance, let me open space in the Man United, and also defending very very key. In against teams Amad Diallo is not even available. And the Omebo Lenny Euro at the other side. No. Mazrai can also play as one of the right centre backs now. In terms of with the aggressiveness and how Manuel Ugarte winning balls, I think say I'll prefer Bruno Fernandes to be playing with Manuel Ugarte in midfield. Kobe Menu will be very key sometimes, especially when Omusha teams are on low block. And then put this game, you will need Manuel Ugarte. But the teams are more high-footed teams. You need Ogate also around that. Obetimi Abuao. Then Patrick Dogu there. Say, in fact, only Bruno Fernandes. These are the two. Maybe in Mbemone Kunha or Matomo very big money. But aside in Mbemone Kunha, Patrick Dogu and Bruno Fernandes are two players. I believe say always the team sheet from within also. In fact, on Sheda ni backup biya. It was our rule, no. And United, they have to look and say they should start getting somebody obey me about that road because running Okoba, maybe will be fatigue in nature. Unya injury will be very long term and it's very young. I think that they should get somebody. Maybe if Luke Shaw also injury situation, ultimately more room. It requires intensity and a lot of running. But then situation whereby only one last season, about they got a lot of several times. So don't go to the AS. Matheus Cunha, Brian Mbeumo, and I think United in the striker. Okay. Now, the striker United will buy. No, I think say there are few players Bima and commit to fit into this United setup. Brian Mbeumo they are in the ball wide areas near the bit abuano. Now, so bet me the more skin starts in the Atoso Mamia. Many guys say he's one player who believes that United will find and commit my ball. He's a player now, not born that traditional ball striker. And if United for every ball against low block teams at least they have their man. He's a player checking the total shots our boy, especially all non-penalty shot or boy in the Serie A last season. And this player by least there's no single season here my skin ball more than 2,000 minutes from PSG to Everton all these years. To Juventus or Fiorentina, he had the chance to play a lot of games. And Washa, the most goals by he's not a player of a princess, especially outside the box, but especially inside the box, or a very clinical. And he's a player Obetima complementing Mbeumo and Nukuhamo with that half spaces. Yet he's very young and Oba with that direct how he is as that perfect number 9. Maybe Calvin Lewin so can be a box striker, but on when he and he name say for the past 2 seasons we Messi 88 games in the space of 2 to 3 seasons for Everton. And then Adebakwa and Calvin Lewin in Yankodu Sawe Obeduno. You want to Wesa leading the lines for them would have been ideal, but then Brentford will not lose their two important players in one window. Clear. And even if Obebakra it will have almost stretchy or money in Mbeumo, it's going to be very good for them. Some commitment as a deal. Alexander Isak could have been a perfect player. On the about him so by amount 100% impact from ni how about the boy ni BBB and ya and kebet me accredited United player. But he's so expensive. United cannot buy him, and I don't even think he will leave Newcastle to come to United at this stage. Back now, there's only one player I believe will say Man United for Kofana Bebomu. Osonfa Watkins frequency run in behind in attack and front to Sumami. Ocheki Ruben Amorim under Sportina. They had several ways on build up. They'll build up from the back. Omonjo attention call one place. They have players who complete that diagonal pass to Omo flanks on Quinda any this left-footed Portuguese international Trincao moving Omanya ball Omamba toward the Ama Victor Walker's part or tapping in. Now they will need a striker Obe running in behind so well to open the half spaces for Kunha because Kunha ni Mbeumo. If striker and movement and running in behind so much and one list to last season Oli Watkins with Mr. Watkins the upper strikers no more Premier League in terms of chances creation he is very good because of how or running in behind and always unya ball in the box at the wide areas. So the moment Obenyano, he's very good on the ball. When you control the if he's not scoring or creating chance man opponent share. And no Chucky Watkins frequency in run behinds in attacker last season. That is the total runs in behind in the Premier League last season. Used to her or make 46.1%. Ebuano. And he's the only striker who makes his runs no more. And if Oli Watkins can replicate this at this United setup, very good on the ball, almost build it up. He's not or a bit me Kohodu play, boy more quick 1-2, or running into channels, Kunha and Boy bit more occupy that half spaces now, everybody into the attacking zone. Hona. You look at all these players, Watkins, Bito, Vardy, Mateta, Ivan Nelson, Haaland, Calvert-Lewin, and Nicholas Jackson. Omama Kanin there, right? Then Russian Holland so there's a reason why make us say if Holland able to improve here. But honestly, then they say the end product. Or to make it run so bonya bona one boni be a on to fan create chance. But and no, I think I come here, especially that pass not my mother or Moji Bogo if they don't get their striker. Because Sesko Alban, he can also fit into United setup. He's very top, but also no the kind of pressure United. He is not proving. Obana Obebo Salman for best at 007. Nenya fan say Accra no ni potential na I shut it down. But with Hoyland game no boy. If United for Menya Watkins, I think that they should give Rashford Hoyland another chance. Say statistics here I'm Tuesday. If provided 74.3 run behinds, which is idea very good and me believes that Watkins beat him about this United team. Then Rasmus beats my at least I replicated the Ivan Nelson and even Mateta crying na it beats me abwa a Man United because of Mbeumo and Kunha addition now my and in fact they still have Bruno Fernandes in there. Also beats me attack that space is a ball in the box in front of the box he can score. That half space is a beba in the box in front of the box from Kunha and Mbeumo they can all score. So Rasmus run in behind, stretching the defense, and then speeding the physicality. And very good. He should improve upon. But I did be very key. And getting the final pass and the final shot right. If we just animal writer, I think that next season there will be a better narrative on Rashford Holland leading Man United attack.
Okay. All right. Yansha Kakrebi or Black Queens in England winning their first trophy.
I think that England for this is their second consecutive year of magic in the Euros, and I think that it was a revenge for the Lioness, revenge for the three Lions of England for after the Spain for the day of winning that Euros. No, but you look at this England team, I think that Selena Wigman, she's been an incredible coach for them, and actual tournaments, where they were trailing, maybe more trailing once at my free for bench or go pa. If we have said no, so we say it was something that near clear said England was going to win. In fact, they are very good players. Which players are all playing in the women's league. They are all playing at the highest level. James, name of the goalkeepers, they had their moment. But then against Spain, I knew it was going to be very difficult against the world champions. But then also chances of Munya, they capitalize on that and also Timmy Baya on Betesa Ina. But I think that England, they've been able to replace some key players. And this Ajiman girl you're by, a lot of people didn't know her. But then she's ultimately winning the young player of the tournament. Then also inclusion in Omo team, even if James Prane in film, Lucy Bronzer and throughout all the tournaments. They themselves were proud, but yes, still they didn't have anybody. I think they did a very good job, especially beating the world champions. And they still cement your own position as the European champions. Hopefully, they can replicate that in the world championship. Now, Black Queens there, and I think came by. I think it's a short time and going to this tournament. You know, a lot of players, especially they've won the hearts of a lot of people. Will be to say the midfield duo, Grace Asantuane, Jennifer Kujo, they've been fantastic. The centre backs, the captain Portia, and the centre back, the Bonsu, the left back. I think he on any boy was some of the players I think say or more surprising me very well. Then I think that Doris and Evelina, they've been our key players for some time now. They didn't have a very good tournament, but then I think say people have been harsh on them. My mom for kasa kasa, but then I think that boy inclusion was very key. He's going to be an integral part of your team. You know, they've done well in 16 years now, and always be an in your group stage. Quarter finals and your group stage quarter final, but then they've been able to win bronze for us. I think it's a step in the right direction. Maybe Kim last, we should give him some time to do whatever we believe say
okay, right. Into yembre naso na mamemfa me Oscar Cram Fambra moko Brazil omo Brazil League B no Botafogo FC SP kwawe omo ne Ava FC na ebo corners over 9.5 na oko Bulgaria PFC Lokomotiv Plovdiv ene PFC Montana 1921 na ebo Plovdiv na we win or draw and Elfsborg home win, Midtjylland home win. Yes, into me 3 matches ne.
Yes, now selected some few games. This is 10 odds for the day. Oko Finland Academia and Sao Pabebo. A straight win for Academia. Team and the Nestan and Helsinki or Finland. A straight win for Helsinki. FK Vida any Hina Bebo. A straight win for FK Vida. Midtjylland or Denmark omoni timandi ede Sonderske abebo a straight win for Midtjylland and Elfsborg and Gothenburg straight win for Elfsborg code no 10 points 83 or code no ZGFY.
All right, I may add more than I best share na fe dia ka chenya to media bramo yakram.